Mabuhay and welcome to Power Talks. Today we celebrate a true titan of Philippine media, a visionary leader who has helped shape the landscape of Philippine entertainment and television. Join us as we sit down with none other than Attorney Felipe Algozon, Chairman of GMA Network Incorporated. You really wanted to be a lawyer?
It came naturally because I was really argumentative. You know, the secret about me, pag hindi ako nananalo, hindi ako ginaganaan.
When your children were still young, were you a strict parent po ba?
I don't teach my children what to do. I don't even interfere on their life or their career.
Never, sir.
No.
How would you describe your own leadership style po?
As much as possible, I want to show by example.
What would you say to your younger self? I mean, is there something that you would tell the young Henry?
Pia, in life, you have to set a goal. And when you achieve the goal, you cannot imagine how you feel.
Do you think about what kind of legacy you'd like to leave behind?
It's very simple. I just like to be remembered as a good man and having done a good job.
Hi everyone and welcome to the first ever episode of Power Talks, where we get to sit down and speak with very special guests and take a peek into their lives and find out what it's really like for them. And today we have none other than Chairman of GMA Network Incorporated, Attorney Felipe Algozon. Excited kami, sir, dahil this will be sort of a walk down memory lane dahil pag-uusapan natin, sir, lahat ng bagay-bagay na pwedeng pag-usapan.
Well, at my age, I have plenty of that already.
Just celebrated pa your 85th birthday last year. So like you said, there's so much to cover, lots to talk about. We all know FLG at the helm of GMA and how you spent a huge bulk of your career in GMA. But we'd like to ask also, sir, what were like some of the defining moments or experiences in your early life that helped shape your ambition and your drive? Like, bata pa lang po ba kayo, sir? Gusto niyo na maging abogado?
I was very, very active. Malikot, in other words. That's why when I was about 2.5 years old, I fell in the narrow well in the residence of my maternal grandparents in Malabon.
As in, malalim yun, sir?
Malalim yung well. And if their neighbor did not see me, I would have drowned. When I was about 3 years old, I was with my mother in Malabon Sugar Factory, and I fell.
Na naman, sir.
I fell in the factory. Now, when I was about 5 years old, you know, our house was near the Malabon River, and we used to swim there. When I dove backwards from the Salambao, I got under. Salambao is a very wide and long bamboo raft that was used for fishing in Malabon River. And I hit my head in the barnacles under the Salambao. And it was so dark, and if I did not see the light and swam towards it, I would have drowned. Now, the last was when I was about 6 years old. I think we were playing baseball, and when I ran after the baseball towards the street, a jeepney was passing by and hit me. And if I did not bounce from the part of the jeepney that hit me, I would have been run over and killed.
At the age of
Six. About 6. I was enrolled in Malabon Elementary School in my primary grades. That's grade 1 to 4. I got involved in almost all of the extracurricular activities there, like gagamba, touching, rubber bands, text, sigay, you name it, I was there. And when my mother learned of that, she transferred me and my brother and sisters to Union Elementary School in Malate, Manila. So it was a very big, large distance from Malabon to Malate. There was almost no disruptive extracurricular activities. So I was forced to just study, and that was why I graduated valedictorian of Union Elementary School. And so my mother, who was a very religious and spiritual woman, told me that God must have a plan for me. That's why He allowed me to live and survive those incidents. And that impacted me consciously and subconsciously. And since that time, everything that happened to me, I attributed to God. particularly my achievements.
Imagine, sir, before you hit the age of 6, ang dami yun ang na-experience.
Oh yes, I was so malikot. I was all over the place.
Would you say, sir, that you were always giving your mom a headache?
Not only headache, every time she sees me, she's very glad that I was still alive.
So, sir, sabi niyo po, when you transferred to Union Elementary School and then talagang you were able to concentrate and focus on your studies.
That was not my intention, but there was nothing else to do.
So, sir, it became a habit na rin that you carried with you until high school, until college and law school.
Perhaps. But you know, I'm not really the scholar type. Because most of the subjects I took in my pre-law, I have already studied in high school, sa UP Preparatory School, which was an experimental school to prepare you for college. So, maski hindi ako nag-aral sa pre-law ko, dahil alam ko na, pumapasa ako. When you have plenty of idle time in your hands, what do you do? So, then, naglaro na ako ng billiard, saka bowling. And I became very good at it, Pia. You know, the secret about me, pag hindi ako nananalo, hindi ako ginaganaan. Dala ko yon hanggang sa first 2 years of my College of Law proper. And that was a different ball game. And it was a miracle, really a miracle, why I passed. Pero ang grade ko, 3W. Ang ibig sabihin ng W, warning. Kumbaga sa that is below 75.
Pero sir, after ng College of Law, di ba sir, nasa top po kayo ng bar? Ang rank ninyo. Ang
nangyari, siguro may nagsumbong sa father ko. So, I was there in the billiard hall playing billiard one weekday morning instead of studying. When I hit the billiard ball, tumama yung stick sa tiyan ng nasa likod ko. When I look back, it was my father. You can imagine. You can imagine. I wanted the ground to swallow me up. Pero tingnan mo, my father did not scold me or He just looked at me and left.
Wala siyang sinabi,
Walang sinabi. And after that, he did not speak to me for more than a month. Yung tatay ko, makausap yan That's when I realized that I was really doing something wrong. And so, I stopped playing billiard, I studied. That's when I became a scholar. That's what I was able to pull my average from 3W to about 2. And I graduated among the top 10 of my class.
Wow! Your early years in the legal background, were you a courtroom lawyer, sir?
First, I wanted to be a trial lawyer. You know, because you see that in the movies, But I was so afraid to fumble or make a mistake. So before I appear, I really studied very hard the case. But you know what? Even during my time, every time I appear in court, fully prepared. The case had to be postponed because there were many other cases calendared for the day. And before my case could be heard, maybe 3 or 4 times. But after every 1 month interval, so I had to study again before I appear again. So I said, this is not for me. It's a big waste of time. If you really study and you don't get to trial, then you really have to refresh your memory again, and it's not worth it. And at that time, I joined the Ponce Enrile law firm. Johnny Ponce Enrile, the famous Johnny Ponce Enrile now, was still there. And the two of them with Monticello were the tax lawyers of the firm. But Johnny was appointed after Marcos won. So he had to leave the firm. And Monticello was busy somewhere else. He was in the office, if I remember correctly, maybe only 1 hour a day. So the tax work fell on my shoulders because they knew that among the subjects I mastered in Yale was taxation.
Oh, so that became your area
and
of
I
expertise.
was able to do it.
Oh, okay.
That's why I became a junior partner in 1 year and a half.
Wow, just a year and a half, sir?
Yes.
Sir, were you the first lawyer in your family po?
No, my father was a lawyer.
Ah, okay. So you really wanted to be a lawyer like your father?
Well, it came naturally. because I was really argumentative.
Something that your mother would probably attest to, sir.
Okay, as an aside, Pia, you don't argue with your mother, with my mother.
It was a no-no, sir.
Early on, I already learned never to argue with my mother. You will never win. So why argue?
One of life's early lessons for you,
What
sir.
I did was just agree, but still do what I want to do.
Without her finding out.
I got along well with my mother.
So you were at the law firm, and then you were already doing your taxation and specializing in all that. But you also decided to join the media industry when GMA Network came along.
Before that, Philippine Airlines asked me to be the head of their legal department because I was doing their tax work, and they had plenty of tax problems. I don't know why Bello had to leave. Bello was a senior partner of the Ponce law firm, Ponce Enrile law firm. The name of the firm then was Ponce Enrile, Sigyon Reyna, Montecillo, and Bello. I was vice president of PAL then, and I was not yet ready to leave PAL. I was barely there 1 year and a half. But Ike Bello told me that if I did not join him, magpa-farming na lang daw siya sa Rojas.
So that convinced you, sir.
I never intended to stay permanently in Philippine Airlines.
Who were your early mentors or role models in your career?
Well, I had plenty, but I guess ultimately it was my father. My father occupied high government positions, but he never lost his humility, honesty. He was working very hard, and he treated everybody fairly. And I saw it, and that became my role model.
So from a very young age, you already saw what you wanted
Yes,
to be like
I
in the
worked
future.
as his private secretary when he was Secretary of Agriculture and Natural Resources. I graduated. I took the bar while waiting for my trip to New Haven, to Yale University for my graduate. Nag-private secretary muna ako sa father ko sa Department of Agriculture.
Mahirap po ba, sir, na to work for your own father? Would you say it's more
No,
difficult?
my father was a very good boss. In fact, he never told me what to do. But my assignment was to review yung mga cases that he will sign.
Okay. So
Yeah, to check the facts and to see that it's okay
before passing it on to him.
before he signs it.
Okay. Aside from your father, wala na pong ibang naging mentors?
Si Senator Salonga.
Vita Salonga,
Yeah,
sir.
Vita.
Kailan po kayo nagkatrabaho ni Senator Salonga?
Si Senator Salonga, matagal na namin kakilala yan. When my father ran for governor of Rizal and he lost, Salonga was one of the campaign managers. Salonga was already a congressman then.
Oh, how nice naman, sir. I didn't know that there was a connection rin pala to Senator Salonga from
Yes.
way back.
Kasama namin sa kampanya kasi up to 4 o'clock in the morning. So you really get close.
How would you describe, syempre you learned from your mentors and all, but how would you describe your own leadership style po?
As much as possible, I want to show by example what I expect people to do. And I tell them stories. Like, for example, when we are in a meeting with the executives, I told them about my experience in PAL. During that time, the executive vice president of PAL was very patient. You know, from 1 o'clock to 7 p.m., all I hear are explanations and excuses on why things that should have been done were not done. Up to the point when I asked permission not to attend anymore because it was a waste of my time. The executive vice president told me, but sometimes a legal question can arise and we will need you there. So what I did was to bring my work there and did my work during the meeting. So I told the GMA executives, I learned from that not to listen to excuses. We better talk about how not to repeat the mistake and how to do things properly after that.
Instead of
That's the
making
better
excuses.
approach. Rather than talking about why things were not done, it's better to talk on how things should be done.
And sir, would you say that through the years, your leadership style has evolved somehow?
No, I have been constant. You can ask the executive. I am very proud that the network became #1 in ratings and net income. It has beaten its competition, as you know.
We know the story about how you came to be involved, of course, with GMA. And at the time that Uncle Bob offered you to come into GMA was not what it's like
Oh,
now.
of course not.
There was no hesitation on your part at all.
You know, at that time, GMA was RBS, and it was at the bottom of the TV industry ladder. Nalulugi yan. Ang RBS was black and white pa. And the guys who are older than you, Pia, would remember that Combat had been shown in RBS for so long, and Popeye, and they are in black and white.
Look at what GMA is now compared to what
Well,
it
because
was when you first got it.
through our resources and friendship with bankers, we were able to get an 8 million peso loan. And we used that to put RBS in color and to pay the supplier, so we were able to get new content. Kaya doon ang galing yung mga Richman, Poorman, Charlie's Angels. Napalitan na yung mga Combat and Popeye the Sailor Man.
At naging colored na, sir.
Naging colored na.
And at that time, 8 million lang,
So,
nagawa niyo na
kumita
lahat
na.
yun.
Sa madaling salita, kumita na. We were not #1 in ratings. Although in some cases, like Richman and Poorman, mga gano'n. But our income were not as big as now. If I remember correctly, parang 200 million or below a year, annual. Pero kumikita na.
GMA has accomplished so much since then.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Ano pa po yung na-envision nyo for GMA?
Modesty aside, I think GMA accomplished many things after I assumed the chief executive position in October 2000.
The leadership, sir. Yes, ever since 2000.
When it went, let's say, 200 million to 2 billion. And even more than 2 billion.
And sir, that's also
And
when we
#1 in
exceeded
ratings.
But sir, speaking of the impact that GMA Network has had, of course, on the Filipinos, one of the strong impact also of GMA is its responsibility when it comes to journalism.
Oh yes.
How would you say GMA is maintaining its commitment to that, especially in this age of digital
Okay.
media with so much disinformation?
Modesty aside again, we were the ones who formally adopted that as a company policy. And that is best expressed in our tagline. And you, being part of the news, know that by heart. And that is, walang kinikilingan, walang interest na pinoprotektahan, walang kasinungalingan, serbisyong totoo lamang. And we strictly enforce that. And you know that.
By heart, sir. Do you think that even in this day and age, that GMA Network still has a very important role to play in society?
Oh yeah, media has always, that's why it's called the fourth or the fifth estate. It shapes public opinion. I mean, by reporting the facts, the public forms its opinion on that.
Which is why, sir, the standard should be set very high.
That's why it has to be truthful, factual.
Does it relax you to watch TV? Kasi, or do you just think of work when you're watching TV?
No, I love watching TV.
Sir, pwede ba namin malaman kung anong favorite TV show nyo sa GMA?
Maria Clara at Ibarra, pinanood ko yan. Family Feud.
Ay, pareho tayo, sir. Aside from the news, of course, sir.
Tsaka 24 oras.
Yes, sir.
Tsaka Saksi.
Sir, sumasagot po kayo sa Family Feud pag nanonood kayo? Sinasagot
Hindi
nyo?
ako nananalo dun eh.
Wow!
Sinasali nga ako ni Anet, ayoko lang. Dahil baka sabihin ng mga tao, fixed deal. Paano, pag sinagot ko, may pirming pasok eh. Sa tanda ko naman to, sa experience na lang. Tsaka lumaki naman ako sa kalye, Pia eh. Kaya alam ko, tinatanong ang mga tao dyan eh.
Kaya survey says.
You have your ears on the ground there.
What will viewers expect from GMA Network on its 75th year?
There is something that's happening now. And it's a gradual shifting of watching content from traditional TV to the new modern gadgets like smartphones, laptop, etc. Mabuti na lang in the Philippines, It's happening very gradually. But I think the traditional TV will be there to stay, just like the radio. But we have to be there at the front lines when the shifting becomes very substantial. And we are attending to that. That's all I am going to say.
Exciting. That means, sir, it sounds like you have something up your sleeve.
Oh yeah, many things up our sleeve.
Sir, napag-usapan po natin kanina the influence that your parents had on you, your father and your mother. Growing up po ba, did you grow up in a very close-knit family? Tipong araw-araw po kayo magkasabay kumain? Talagang lahat sinasabi niyo po sa inyong mga magulang?
Hindi ko pwedeng sabihin na araw-araw magkasama kaming kumain dahil my father was very busy in his government job. Ang mother ko naman, who engaged in business, busy rin. So, but we see them most of the time, but not every day. Every weekend, yes.
Magkasama po. Sir, di ba, tama po ba, apat po kayo magkapatid? Or?
Apat. I am the third.
The third. How would you describe yung dynamics po ninyo sa family kayong magkakapatid? Kasi kanina sabi niyo po
just
kayo
like everybody else. Nagkakagalit kami, nagbabati, but we were and are very close.
Kayo po ba yung pinakamakulit po noon sa
Ako ang black sheep of the family.
Talaga po, sir?
Yes. Ang babait ng mga kapatid ko as compared to me.
Sabi niyo po, kayo naging scholarly kayo later on. So sila po, ganun din po.
Okay, modesty aside, ako ang pinaka-intelligent sa kanilang lahat. Based on my
on your grades. Ah, wow.
But not necessarily intelligent in the outside life.
So alam na nila yon kasi kita naman yun sa report card, sir.
Alam nila yon.
Oho. Pag ganun po ba, sir, kapag mataas ang grades nyo, may premyo po ba kayo galing sa magulang ninyo?
Well, ang pinaka-premyo ko, when I started to study in the College of Law, 1/2 lang ng tuition ang bayad ng college scholar. So, my parents gave the 1/2 to me.
Pang-allowance nyo, sir?
No, binibigyan pa in addition as a reward.
Ah, wow. Diba sabi niyo, your father, kaya niyang makuha kayo sa isang tingin. How about yung relationship niyo po with your mother? Sabi niyo po she was a businesswoman.
My mother, okay. Because she felt that she lost me 4 times. Ang nanay ko, pirming gusto nakikita ko You are a mother.
Yes.
Pag na-experience mo yun, parang nawalang anak na nabiglang nandun. So parang we were very close. At saka nakita niya, naliligo ako sa dugo nung pailalim ako sa salamba when I hit my head in the barnacle.
Sir, di ba doon po nanggaling yung palayaw niyo ni Henry?
Dahil kailangan akong kalbuhin para mag-stick yung plaster. And at that time, a favorite comic character was Henry.
Na kalbo din, sir?
Oh, kalbo. So my brother started calling me Henry and it stuck.
Sir, nabanggit niyo na sa Malabon po kayo lumaki, tapos tumatalon kayo sa Malabon River. Mahilig po talaga kayong mag-swimming noon?
Wala ka namang gagawin doon, kundi mag-swim. Alam mo, nung araw, simple lang ang buhay
Lagi kayo nasa labas, kapitbahay mga kalaro
niyo,
ang
likot-likot ko nga
Sino mga kalaro niyo noon, sir?
Di yung mga kapitbahay, yung mga pinsan, tapos yung mga ka-eskwela ko sa Malabon Elementary School.
Di ba, sir, sabi niyo, your mother was a businesswoman?
Yes.
Ang negosyo po niya sa patis, tama po ba,
Hindi
sir?
lang yun. Asin.
Patis at
Maraming
asin.
ginawa ang nanay ko. Sabon.
As in,
Pharmacist ang nanay ko You know, she had to do that, Pia, because the salary of my father, being a government official, was not enough. We could not have gone to college if we will rely only on his salary. So my mother had to earn and engage in business.
would you say na your business acumen you got from your mother, tapos yung legal expertise nyo nakuha
Well,
nyo sa
I don't know if I have a business acumen. But all I know is, well, my grandmother was a businesswoman. And my grandfather was the one investing the money, and my grandmother was the one earning the money. And they were very rich. Nakuha ng nanay ko siguro sa nanay niya.
Tumutulong po ba kayo, sir, nung bata kayo sa negosyo?
Well, we were forced to get involved in the business. For example, doon sa patis, we had to wash the bottles.
Kayo
and put the we were asked to be involved. May mga assignment.
Pag ganun, sir, nagre-reklamo po ba kayo? Or
Hindi ka pwedeng magreklamo
No choice talaga,
You
sir.
don't know my mother.
Very strict po.
Useless to complain.
Would you say your mother was more the disciplinarian than your father was?
Yes.
All right.
Ang father ko, indirect mag-discipline. Like what I said, hindi ako kinausap.
Titingnan ka lang,
Naging
sir.
effective. Nanay ko, hindi effective.
Sir, ano po yung mga nakuha nyo from your parents na parenting style na ginagamit nyo ngayon sa sarili nyo?
Well, okay, honesty, sincerity, fairness, and hard work. Both of them were hardworking.
And sir, yung pagiging close ng pamilya, you carry that on to your own family?
Close kami. Kasi maliit lang yung bahay namin. So, hindi kamukha nito ngayon.
So talagang sir, magkakatabi kayo pag natutulog?
Nung unang-una, maliit lang yung bahay namin sa Malabon.
Sir, I remember nagkukwento po si Ma'am Annette when we interviewed her na you carried it on nga po sa inyong sariling pamilya na you'd like that everybody has dinner together every day.
Well, if possible. Nakakatipid ka dun eh.
It's a chance to catch up. Parang alam niyo kung anong nangyayari sa
If
buhay.
you talk with each other, sometimes hindi naman kayo nagsasalita, nagtitinginan lang. Tsaka ngayon may TV. At tsaka yung mga grandchildren ko, naku, sa mga gadget nila, yan ang pinapanood. Unless I talk to them, they don't talk to me.
Pero sir, when your children were still young, were you a strict parent po ba?
Ay, naku, very, very close.
Very close.
They sleep in our bedroom.
Okay.
Very, very close. That is my wife's, gusto niya yung ganun eh. Ang wife ko, hatid sundo yan. At pagdating ng lunch, binibigyan pa ng hot food. Nakatutok yan. 24/7.
Napapagalitan mga anak.
Lahat. Na-disiplina ko yan eh.
Kayo po mas stricto kesa kay Mrs. Gozon?
Ako ang disiplinaryan. Si Mrs. Gozon, hindi. Puro kuwan yan eh. Okay. Itong anak kong lalaki does not want to drink medicine. We were in Disneyland sa Anaheim. Nilagnat. Ayaw uminom ng medicine. So, imbis na puwersahin ng my wife to drink, inakap na lang. Mabuti na lang gumaling.
Wow! Very different nga yung approach, sir.
Oo, sa kanya. Ako hindi. Puwersahin ko yun.
Sir, speaking of Disneyland, may isang interview si Ma'am Annette before na sabi niya, pagdating sa mga roller coaster, kayo daw po ang partner niya. Hindi po kayo natatakot? Kayo yung adventurous?
Noong araw, hindi. Tsaka yung mga Witch Mountain na madilim, parang yung bituka mo, aakyat eh. Sinasamahan ko sila doon.
Sabi niyo po, your father, parang they were strict about your grades later on. Ganon din po kayo sa kids niyo, very particular about academics.
Ang aking way of disciplining them was just to monitor. And I told them that I know you can hack it. Matatalino eh.
May pinagmanahan, sir.
Mana sa misis.
So, sir, what are some of the biggest joys you have as a parent and as a grandfather?
Well, to see my children succeeding. Valedictorian lahat yan. Si Marites, magna cum laude, BS Psychology sa UP. And among the top of her school in medicine sa UP rin. And Annette and Philip both have Masters of Law degree from Harvard. And I am very proud of those accomplishments.
And now you see those same kinds of accomplishments with your grandchildren.
Yes.
Are you also strict as a grandfather or
No.
yung pagka-strict wala na?
Pagdating sa grandchildren, I am the opposite of being strict. Ang responsibility wala na sa akin eh.
Nasa magulang na.
Paano kung pag dinisipline ko, hindi ako batiin?
So, kung ano yung hingin ng apo nyo, sir, ibibigay po ninyo?
Hindi naman lahat. Alam mo kung mali na eh. Pero almost always. And hindi na ako responsible sa kanila eh. So, I can afford to spoil them. Bahala na yung mga parents nila to discipline them.
Now that you've seen also how your grandchildren are growing up, do you ask them or guide them in a particular direction when it comes to, let's say, studies or career?
Well, for my children, I don't teach my children formally what to do. I don't even interfere on their life or their career.
Never, sir.
No.
Never? Not once,
No,
sir?
but very indirect. I don't tell them what to do.
You just let them parang arrive at the decision on their own with
Well, for
guidance.
example, I allow them to choose their own profession, whatever they want. Because I believe that if you like what you do, Pia, it's not work. You enjoy doing it.
And you will stay for a very
Then
long
you do
time.
it well.
Yes. Obviously, you enjoy what you're doing.
Yes.
It doesn't feel like work at all, di ba, sir?
Sometimes nahihirapan din ako, but I love doing it. You want to know my schedule?
Yes, sir.
I start working at 4 o'clock.
4 a.m., sir?
You try it. Your mind is very clear at that time of the day. So by 5:30 to 6, I have my breakfast. After that, I go back to work, read newspapers. Then I sleep for about an hour. Then I exercise. If there's more work to do, then I work. But even if there's work, I exercise.
Do you think about what kind of legacy you'd like to leave behind?
In general, it's very simple. I just like to be remembered as a good man and having done a good job, period.
As simple as that, sir.
Yes.
When you look back, your career, everything that you have accomplished, what would you say to your younger self? I mean, is there something that you would tell the young Henry na parang, oh, you're gonna go far places, you're gonna accomplish this, you're gonna accomplish that? Or is there anything?
Pia, in life, you have to set a goal. And when you achieve the goal, you cannot imagine how you feel. I mean, that is the best reward of them all. It's not money, it's not compensation. It's achieving what you set out to do. And we have done that.
What is like one piece of advice that you would like to give to young people who look up to you and want to accomplish the same things that you have accomplished?
Well, very simple. Just do what I did. Set your goal, work very hard in achieving that, focus, be honest and have integrity, and treat everyone fairly.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we all did. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and download Power Talks on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.